A warm welcome to all. Welcome to my microeconomics selfie seminar. By the way, this is Sahana from first year BBA LLB Honors. In this seminar, I am going to explain about price elasticity of demand. First of all, let's know what is elasticity of demand. It means responsiveness or the degree of response of the demand towards a price. It is also called as sensitiveness of demand. In studying elasticity, we will find how changes in price affect change in demand. There are generally three types of elasticity of demand. The first, price elasticity of demand. In this type, we get to know how price will affect the quantity demanded of the product among the people. The second type, income elasticity of demand. Through this, we can know how income affect the demand of the commodity. The third type is cross elasticity of demand. It speaks about the responsiveness according to the relative goods such as supplementary and complementary goods. Now let's understand what is price elasticity of demand. It is the responsiveness of the commodity to the change in price of that particular commodity. The coefficient of elasticity is denoted as E, and coefficient of price elasticity of demand is EP. It can be calculated through various ways. In this slide, P is the price and Q is denoted as quantity demanded, and EP can be calculated as percentage change in quantity demanded divided by percentage change in price. While calculating EP, the negative sign is usually ignored. Price elasticity of demand are of 5 types. They are perfectly elastic demand, perfectly inelastic demand, relatively elastic demand, relatively inelastic demand, and unitary elastic demand. In upcoming slides, we will discuss each in great detail. Perfectly elastic demand. In this degree of response, the price remains constant but the quantity demanded by the people changes. It is also called as infinitely elastic demand. In this graph, x-axis is the quantity demanded and y-axis is the price. Here, the price at all stages remains constant as rupees 4, while the demand changes from 10 units to 30 units. Here we can see that the price elasticity of demand infinitely changes. Now we'll calculate the degree of responsiveness, that is elasticity of demand. It can be calculated as change in Q divided by change in P multiplied by base price divided by base quantity demanded. Here change in quantity is 20, change in price is 0, base price is rupees 4 and base quantity demanded is 10 units. So, while substituting the values, we get 20 divided by 0 into 4 divided by 10. We'll get 80 divided by 0 where the price elasticity of demand is equal to infinity. Here we can see that the price elasticity of demand infinitely changes. Even though there is no change in price, the quantity demanded varies. Hence, this kind is called as perfectly elastic demand. Next, we'll see perfectly inelastic demand. In this degree of response, price keep on changing but the quantity demanded will be constant. Here, in this type, there is no responsiveness. In this graph, y-axis denotes price in rupees and x-axis denote quantity demanded in units. Here price decreases from 10 rupees to 9 rupees, but the quantity demanded OQ remains to 18 units in all price. In this case, ED is 0. How? We'll do the calculation. ED equals change in quantity demanded divided by change in price into base price divided by base quantity. In substituting the values, we get 0 divided by 1 into 18 divided by 10. We get 0 divided by 10, that's equal to 0. Here ED is 0. There is no responsiveness towards the change in price. Therefore, this kind is called as perfectly inelastic demand. The next type is relative elastic demand. In this degree of elasticity, the small change in price will lead to very big change in quantity demanded. To put in simple words, quantity demanded are larger to a change in price. In this graph, x-axis denote quantity demanded and y-axis denote price. In this kind, price changes from rupees 9 to rupees 10 and such that quantity demanded decreases from 200 units to 150 units. Here, percentage change in price is very much lesser than change in quantity demanded. In calculating the price elasticity of demand, on substituting the values we get E equals to 2.25. Here, ED is greater than 1. In relative elastic demand, ED is always greater than 1 since small change in price will lead to very big change in quantity demanded. The next type is relative inelastic demand. Here, larger change in price will result in smaller change in quantity demanded. In the displayed graph, y-axis denotes price of the commodity and x-axis denotes quantity demanded. Here, price changes from rupees 100 to rupees 200 and quantity demanded decreases from 10 units to 8 units. The change in quantity demanded is lesser than the percentage change in price. Here, ED is lesser than 1. On calculation, ED is equal to percentage change in quantity demanded divided by percentage change in price. That is 20% divided by 100%, we get E as 0.2. So here ED is always lesser than 1. Since the relative change in price, there is a larger change in price will result in smaller change in quantity demanded. The next type in unitary elasticity of demand, it is the change in price will be resulting in exactly equal change in quantity demanded. To illustrate, let's say there is a change in price from 10 rupees to 8 rupees, from P to P1 in the graph, and the quantity demanded changes from 200 units to 240 units from Q to Q1 as in the graph. Then the elasticity of demand will be change in Q divided by change in P into base price divided by base quantity demanded. On substituting the values, we get 40 divided by 2 multiplied by 10 divided by 200. We get 400 divided by 400 and equals 1. So here the price elasticity of demand equals 1. So we called it as unitary elasticity of demand. In the graph, x-axis denote quantity demanded and y-axis denote price. Change from P to P1 is equal to change from Q to Q1. Therefore, ED is equal to 1. This is all about unitary elasticity of demand, and here we there in the end of the video. To make a recap, price elasticity of demand are of 5 types. ED in each kind can be of 0. ED is lesser than 1 and greater than 0. ED shall be equal to 1 and also be greater than 1 and lesser than infinity, and ED can be equals to infinity. Perfectly inelastic demand, the quantity is in the nature of the essentials of life. In case of relative inelastic demand, the nature of the commodity is of necessity towards the life. And in unitary elasticity of demand, the commodity is in the nature of normal good, and in relative elastic demand, the commodity is of luxury type, and in perfectly inelastic demand, it is of imaginary in nature. Each sloping vertically, downward much steeper, rectangular hyperbole, downward little flatter, and horizontal curve respectively in each type. And here we reach the end of this video. Thank you for your patient listening. Thank you.